we are back again with the Well Below Average podcast with Nick and Adam. I am Adam, and I will promise this time to try to look at the camera more because I noticed, Nick, I did a lot of. I don't like looking at myself. So.
Sorry, what were you saying? Oh, no, it's a weird thing. I try to put my little face box right in view of the middle of the screen. So I try to practice making eye contact with myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're always like, what do I look like, or what face am I making? Well, if I'm right in the middle of the screen, then it helps. So that's what I do. But it doesn't always work. Sometimes I just look around or look down or whatever it is.
Yeah, I noticed I was editing last week's video, and there was a point where I was talking, but I was just looking around, and that's how I talk in real life. I'll kind of look around, and I'll talk with my hands a lot, and probably shouldn't do that on the podcast because then it looks like I'm got ADD, and I'm just can't focus on it.
Yeah, it's something. It's we don't claim to be good at this. Actually, we kind of claim to be the opposite. And so this video thing is new. We're used to just doing audio, and you can do whatever you want on audio as long as you're talking. It doesn't really matter. So
yes,
yeah, it's all new to us.
Several times during the audio days, I would you'd be talking about something, and I'd be on my phone checking what's on Twitter.
Right, yeah. Right. Exactly.
So those days are over. We need to pay attention, but glad to be back with everybody that's been watching. And I just ask everybody, I've been putting this out on the socials. Obviously, listen to the show, like us on YouTube, like us on, we're on Spotify, Apple for the audio. Audio is going to just be a portion of the show. What I think is probably the best portion or a good chunk of the show moving forward is to be able to find the entire episode on YouTube on video. So like us, subscribe to our channel, and share our podcast as much as possible. We'd appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Nick, I think we're going to give you some time to go ahead and change your shirt.
Yeah, I thought about it, but it's the first week of NFL Sunday. I did not expect my Steelers to win today. I thought they'd lose in Buffalo. Bills, pretty good. One of the AFC favorites, but they won. TJ Watt, I'm wearing his jersey. It's like the old block style. His old school jersey. Signed his big contract this week, so I decided to leave it on in a mood of celebrating a little bit. So it's been a great slate of games so far. I love football season, but now that NFL and college are both back, it just feels right. This is the best time of the year. The weather is getting somewhat better. It was only 91 today, so we're getting there.
Yeah, I was out in the weather. We do Isch Beard Works. I was in 3 pop-ups Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it was brutal. I don't know if you could tell I'm burned. I got a tomato face.
Yeah.
So it was not as bad, but definitely 3 days of it. Even a 92, 93 is pretty rough. But speaking of which, you want to go ahead and do some sponsors here?
The show's coffee sponsor of the show. You can find them at basically, I would think, any pop-up farmer's market across the Metroplex. They're everywhere. Rodeo Coffee, small batch roasted right here in Fort Worth. We've got a bag of it. What roast do you have there? It should say it on the back.
I have the Colombian.
Ooh, that's the one that I really enjoy. This is their standard roast, kind of your just everyday drinkable coffee. Had some this morning. Had 2 cups of it this morning. It's great. Good people over at Rodeo Coffee. We had small batch roasted right here in Fort Worth. You can find them on Instagram, on Facebook. They were out in Dallas, I think, today. I think they're going to be somewhere tomorrow, or today. I guess not tomorrow because tomorrow's Monday. But next weekend they'll be somewhere pretty much every day. Sometimes they're in multiple places at once. So check them out on Instagram, on Facebook. Tell them you heard about them from the Well Below Average podcast. And enjoy some of their coffee because it's great stuff.
Yes, they were at 5 pop-ups this weekend in 3 days. I was with them for 2 days, but I got something to make you jealous.
Okay,
Right,
what do
it's
you
been on
got?
my wall. Just
Oh man, I
oh,
almost I we went and saw them the other day. I almost snagged one of those, but I just got the coffee.
so we got that right there on the back of the wall. So now we got our rodeo coffee, right? And then
Yes.
fantastic coffee. I've gone like I I don't like this is like my kids have their like baby dolls and stuff they sleep with or like their stuffies or this has been
Mhm.
just sleep
And you
with
can,
it.
legitimately, you can smell it through the bag. Like it's that strong. And when I grind those beans, I mean, it's so like fresh. It's such a great smell. Um, I believe the notes in that one are like chocolate, cherry, and something else. I can't remember, but it's a very smooth drink. Like you hit some of these coffees that are they're craft, and you get hit in the face with all kinds of like strong, like almost citrus flavors. They have that if that's what you're into, but I don't like when coffee roasters promote one as like their main roast, and it's just like I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh gosh, what is this? I want something that's easy to drink but also tastes good, and that Colombian is the perfect choice for you. So enough about coffee. I should have brewed some. I'm kind of tired. It's every week though.
Yes.
Um, but enough about coffee. But yeah, check them out. Rodeo Coffee.
Check them out. And funny thing, at one of my pop-ups when I was at yesterday with Rodeo, I saw a man wearing our second sponsor, Local Menace shirt, carrying some Rodeo coffee in his hand. And I should
That's
have
a
got.
clash. That is like the a Twilight Zone type thing there.
I know, and I was like, I want to feel like maybe we brought them together. It was like that's our people right there. So the worlds are colliding, and another partner we have in this show, some good friends of ours, is Local Menace. This fine T-shirt here is my favorite design. They have that and many other designs designed to destroy your wardrobe. They have hats, T-shirts, stickers, patches, hoodies, not hoodies. What do they call them? Beanies. They're a streetwear brand, artist owned, artist designed streetwear brand out of Dallas, hell bent on destroying your wardrobe. They can find them at localmenace.com. Some of the coolest just t-shirts. They have a Mario rendition thing. I can't even explain it. It is so awesome. Comfortable 100% cotton shirts. They don't skimp on quality at all. They again based out of Dallas, localmenace.com, and let them know that we sent you, and you can use the code BeardCrew at checkout, get 25% off your order, your entire purchase, and it lets them know we sent you, and yeah, helps us all out a little bit there. So check out Local Menace at localmenace.com.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. There's some great. I mean, all kinds of T-shirts, pins. They've got like you said, stickers. So a lot of good stuff all across their site. If you're into T-shirts, which if you're not, I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, shout out to them as well.
Yes. Yeah, I only got a medium t-shirt. I don't wear a medium. Do you wear a medium?
I do not. Especially not after having a kid. I do not wear a medium. Um,
You gotta lose the
I'm
baby.
most. Yeah, I need to work on that. It's certainly easier to gain it than it is to lose it. So yeah, medium, not going to work for me.
But more of a somber note. We try to stay loose on this show, but it is an important weekend. As recording, it is September 12th. That means yesterday, this last Saturday, was September 11th. Um, and it's kind of a time to reflect on kind of where we were at, what it means. So we'll take a few minutes to talk about that. Nick, I'll let you go first. So September 11th, 2001. Where were you
Yeah.
going on?
So I was in the fourth grade at the time, and I remember we were working on our first assignment, like called like a bell ringer. Like the bell rings, you have like 10 minutes to work on an assignment, and in the middle of that, our administrator of the school came across the intercom and sounded very like exacerbated, like very stressed. And I don't really remember like what he said, But then we all went to the cafeteria. Like all the kids went to the cafeteria, elementary, and our parents like picked us up early from school that day. And I remember like going home and like seeing all this over TV. And of course, I was young enough. I didn't really understand. All I knew was that somebody was attacking America. Well, in my mind, that meant like there were bad guys in the neighborhood like going to come into our house, like also in that way attacking America. So, we yesterday, since we're up early every day with a newborn, we watched like ABC News did a special 9/11 remembrance, and they like replayed the newscast of Good Morning America of that day. And I forgot this, but like, the first plane hit and people weren't really sure what happened. Like they thought it was an explosion, maybe it was in a plane. But as they were showing coverage of that on live TV, the second plane hit the second tower. Like that happened in the moment, live TV, and just surreal to think about. It's crazy that it's been that long, and you never forget it. But I think there's a lot of like things I just never realized. All the people that were jumping out of the buildings, like that had nowhere to go. The firefighters that went in, safe people, went back and then never came out. Like it's not just the people that were in the buildings at the time or on the planes at the time. It's the first responders, the police officers, people that were just, I'm sure, so close to the towers, and then they fell and they were, victims to that. So it's been a weekend of remembrance, of course, somber, and maybe this is wrong of me, but of course every network wants to take advantage of it. I think it was Fox had the Yankees and Mets. They played last night, and like build it, when they were previewing it as 20 years later, which feels kind of gross a little bit, but yeah, somber weekend for sure. What about you?
I was actually just starting my freshman year in college. I was just turned 18, so a few days after my 18th birthday. I was asleep in my dorm room. It was pretty early in the morning. A roommate had come in. Someone had played a prank on us and put super glue in our lock. So school maintenance had come and taken my lock out of my door. I didn't have a lock on my dorm room door. And the next door guy who lived next door to me in the dorm came busting in, waking me up. Of course, I was like, and I turned the TV on because I was the only person in the room that had cable TV, and on our floor. And he knew it. Came and he's clicking the TV on, and again, it was like that. It was this building on fire, and then I'm kind of confused. Just woke up, and what's going on? And yeah, not maybe 10 minutes later, as we're watching it, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. You see the second plane hit. And this isn't real. This is fake. It was literally ESPN, because all I watched in those days was SportsCenter, and yeah, it was live coverage on ESPN of everything going on. You had I believe it was probably Chris Berman. The morning weekday morning SportsCenter, calling the whole thing, and it was kind of surreal because you don't really know what's going on. Is this real? Is it just some kind of, and you start flipping channels, and pretty much everything got shut down. It's kind of panicky, even though it was in North Arkansas, at a little college where I ended up going, University of Ozarks. I don't know if they have a mascot to shout out, but
I think it's the Eagle, is it not? Is it the Eagle? They just played, I think they play my college in athletics, or did when I was there. That's one reason, but maybe not. I don't know. That's just my biggest guess. But yeah, it really is. It's crazy. And now we'll be able to say we lived during 9/11, but a global pandemic. 19, 20 years later. So it's crazy to think, and of course, so many things in between. But two things that were major worldwide phenomenons is not the right word, but worldwide events. And yeah, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it triggered a lot in my life. I joined the military. Kind of put me on a lot of parts of it. Put me on the trajectory I've ended up being on. So yeah.
Well, um, any that was not our news segment, but is any of our news a little more light to take a turn?
So we have some cat stories. Um,
Okay.
well, anybody loves cats. I know you're a cat lover.
I'm
Allergic.
a my cat lover. Like, I really like our cat,
Mhm.
which he might make an appearance. He might be in here. I don't know. As he's made an appearance on the show before. But I am allergic to dogs, so.
So allergic to dogs. Return your birthday gift. Don't forget. Okay. So I had a little adventure. I'll keep this brief. I told you before we recorded. Our dogs are freaking out because we heard some noise outside. Something crying, meowing. Really. I go out to investigate. I can't really find it. I feel like this thing is like right in front of me everywhere I look. This sound.
Is
Um,
it, what time is it? Is it night?
yeah, 10:30, 11 ish, somewhere in that frame. So, kids are in bed. My wife's actually going to bed. She's the one that told me about it. That the dogs are freaking out. Um, I'll go out there, and it just feels like I'm looking for this sound. I don't want to charge out into the yard in my t-shirt and sleeping clothes, and to find an animal that wounded or something. Um, so I'm looking and looking, and everywhere I look, it feels like this sound's in front of me. Turns out it's 2 inches in front of me, but it's about 3 inches big. There's a small kitten, just sitting there looking at me, meowing, probably wondering what I'm looking at. Hey, down here. Get my wife, we bring it in, kennel it. Um, Little bitty thing. Barely had teeth, so somewhere in the 4 to 6 week-year-old range.
Wow.
Kind of looking up, yeah. Give it a little food, water, put it in the kennel. But we put the kennel after we try to put it on our cat tower because we have two cats, and our two 9, 10 month old cats come up and try to murder it.
Jeez.
They hissed at it, swatted at it, wanted it. They did not like this cat at all. This little kitten. They got very territorial. These two. I have a little rat terrier that hates my cats, and they go at it quite a bit. Um, so we weren't going to let this little kitten near her. She'd have gobbled it up. But the little kitten, give it some food,
Mm-hmm.
park it in the in the bathroom, and let it sleep. Kind of the next day, we're thinking, okay, maybe it would be okay. Every time our kids went and pet the little kitten, and would go out and be around our cats, our two older cats, they would hiss and like swat at our kids.
Golly.
Yeah. So it was pretty clear we could not keep this cat. And I reached out to several people, you included. Anybody want this kitten? Don't know what to do with it because it's not going to last long here. But we did find a home for it. A woman that fosters cats in general, was able to come pick it up and assured me it's going to be taken care of and given all the treatments it needed to live a healthy life. So yeah, a little adventurous there, close to bedtime.
But it did sleep, like when y'all put it, like it didn't meow all night or anything?
I didn't hear it meow. It meowed for a little bit, but when I checked in, I kind of leaned into the door. I didn't hear it at all
Huh.
at night. So I'm thinking, this is my theory, is we're on the Nextdoor app under pseudonyms, me and my wife. I don't want people knowing who we are.
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, have you ever been on Nextdoor?
Yeah, and I have. I don't like post or anything. I mean, we're on it, but I don't really post. But I feel like I should edit my name and get, make something up.
So we saw a post. My wife found it. She's real good at navigating it. She found somebody about 4 or 5 days ago posting a litter of kittens. Hey, we got litter of kittens. Come, anybody can come grab one. And these cats looked very similar to the one that we found on our door.
Mm-hmm.
Because we checked today, we found no mom cat, no other kittens around our area. So we're thinking this person was driving around dumping cats out
Wow.
around the neighborhood. So I really don't have proof. I don't have a Ring camera or anything to see.
Yeah.
But
Well, glad the cat's okay.
yeah,
That's
happy
your
ending.
good deed.
Yeah, I didn't want to leave it out there to die, so we saved it. But another cat story coming from the AP News. Did you see this footage? Well,
Well, I think I know what you're talking about here.
um, and we could do this Explorer North style, but Lucky Cat, falling feline, gets saved at Miami football game.
Yes, I did see this. This is pretty wild.
Yes, so if you saw it, you'll basically it's like upper deck on the facade. There's a cat hanging, black and white cat, I believe, and all the fans are trying to reach down and grab it, and uh, it falls, and someone catches it in like a flag, right?
Yeah, I think it was a flag, and I mean it's like pretty high up there. And you see this. First of all, how did it get in there? And second of all, how did it get to the point where it was like hanging without like no one up there decided like maybe this isn't a good idea. Let's let this cat climb around.
Right.
Like those are the questions that I have. I mean, props to the person that caught it and that may, or the people maybe. But how did it even get to that point?
I'm not sure. You know, cats get everywhere. There's always baseball games. You see cats on the field 3-4 times a year.
Yeah.
Can't really cat-proof anything. Um, yeah, obviously the team didn't really know about it till after the game. Yeah, they cat is healthy, no signs of injuries. Yeah, and the people who caught it, the Kroomers, I believe are the people's name. When they caught it, they spilled their beverage, but otherwise, everything is okay with them as well. So.
Well, there we go. They probably somebody probably bought them a replacement beverage. So.
Yeah, you know, and if not, I'm sure the University of Miami will grab them one next game.
Well, everybody's saving cats. That's the theme of this weekend. Saving cats. You included.
Okay, we're cat heroes. On to cat murder. Let's go. New story here. Research on beards, wads of gum win 2021 IG Nobel Prize.
Is this Instagram Nobel Prize?
don't know. I think it's IG Nobel Prize. I don't
know. Okay. You know, because sometimes the abbreviation, that's what the kids are saying at least. We're not going to explore this, just in case it's Instagram. Not that I dislike Instagram, but have to have some reason.
Yeah, it's all right. Next story is New York subway breakdown on power off button being hit.
Ooh, let's explore this because that is something that I would be terrified by if I rode subways a lot. Is like it just stops and like you're stuck in one of the not in this actual stop where you can get out, but like in one of the tunnels where you're just stuck.
You're between. It's like a tomb.
Right.
Yeah. So a recent power outage that disrupted half of New York City's subway system for hours, stranded hundreds of passengers. They believe was caused by someone pressing an emergency power off button, according to an investigation. So this was August 29th, so a couple weeks ago, that there was a strong possibility that the button was accidentally pressed since the plastic guard that was supposed to stop the button from being pressed was missing.
Was this like in the subway or is it like a subway headquarters? I don't know. How does that work?
It has to be in something. It can't just be in one. I mean, I guess it's all interconnected. I'm sure there's probably some kind of like hub.
Right.
Yeah, because so.
This reminds me of this would be like something Bart Simpson would do. Or Homer, I guess. Homer Simpson.
Yeah, probably Homer.
Yeah. Don't press the button. He's like, oh, I want to press the button.
Or just like, oops, I dropped my donut, bend over and your butt.
Yeah.
Hit the button. And
yeah. This is like a Homer Simpson moment.
Yes. Yeah, so they looked, I guess it was at the control center, operational control center for the MTA, the Metropolitan Transport Authority. Yeah, they're pretty sure it pressed the button. And don't really understand a lot of this technical stuff, but yeah. And I guess they found it. It was pressed, and they could show that it was pressed for several milliseconds. So someone grazed it, I guess, but it was enough to shut down several pieces of mechanical equipment across the rail system, and it took them hours to get everything back on fully operational for 84 minutes.
So people were stranded, I guess, for that long, for a little, I guess, almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half in your nightmare in the middle of a tunnel.
Yeah, like that is just to the point where it's like, all right, I'm getting a little antsy. Like you hit an hour, like okay, getting a little worried. Like I'm sure the lights are off in there, so maybe hopefully your phone's charged. You probably have your flashlight going. There's probably weirdos on the subway. Yeah, getting a little uncomfortable at that point, but glad it turned out okay.
Yeah, did you ever watch Monk? Was that a show of yours?
No, I'm trying to think. I mean, I think I've like seen some of it, but I've never like really watched it.
So there's an episode where they get buried in a car. Him and some other guy get buried in a car.
Okay.
And Monk is like really like, he's ADD. He's a germaphobe. He's very high strung. He lost his wife, so it's like his mental health is really bad, but he still helps out. He gets caught. They're in this car, and it's like when you said that, it reminded me like he's in there and he's very calm. Okay, we can think through this situation, and he's like thinking, and then all of a sudden he starts pulling on the door handle and like trying to nudge his way out, just really aggressively, like they're buried in this car, and he's like cramming in, he's flopping around, and then he stops. Okay, we don't need to panic, and he like regains his composure and starts thinking, and then he looks at the door handle, pulls it, and starts banging away at the door, like it's comical, but obviously he's panicking.
Right.
So that's what you reminded me of. Last story I have here is Florida man fed up with potholes plants a banana tree in the road.
I mean, I feel like that's the gist of the story, but I do want to know, so I guess we'll explore this a little bit. Was he like successful in actually planting it, or was he just like attempting to plant it?
No, he planted it. He put it in there. He had been, I guess, complaining for months about a pothole in a road. And apparently it is a private road. In Florida here, I'm in Fort Myers, Florida. So, and I guess that's been the issue. They've wanted this fixed. It's a main go through, but the city's saying it's a private road, and I guess the people are saying no, it's up to the city. And this man got fed up and said, "Okay, I'm just gonna throw a ripened banana tree in this pothole and plant it to make sure." What do you say? Yeah, we have to maintain it and make sure no one gets hurt. We're gonna put something obvious there to make sure nobody gets in the hole. So I guess
that's not a bad idea. I mean, there's worse ideas. Thoughts on bananas? If you like it fruit wise, what do you think about bananas?
I like them. They're not my go-to.
Yeah, they're like the easiest, one of the easier ones. Like you don't really, I mean, peeling is easy. It's usually you get pretty quick. They're apparently really good for you. Like I don't know. I don't eat oranges much. I don't eat like what's another fruit that people eat a lot? Apples. I feel like I've burnt myself out on apples. But bananas.
You forget apples.
Well, and here's the other thing about bananas. If you just don't eat them, then you can make banana bread, which is great. So.
Fun fact about bananas. Did you know you've eaten the same banana every time you've eaten a banana?
Like there's no difference?
They're clones. All other banana species basically have been wiped out on Earth, and every banana is a clone. So genetically, every banana is the same, and you've never eaten anything.
Whoa.
Your whole life. There's some existential.
I don't know if I can continue the podcast after learning that. That I did not know that.
Yes.
Man, wow. That's why That's why people stay. That's why they come back to the podcast for banana facts. All right, we're gonna have one of those every week. A banana fact. I don't know how many there are, but we'll try to go up with something. Yeah, but bananas. Driving along, fill the pothole, grab a little snack. So good on that guy for taking initiative, right?
There you go. It's our civic responsibility. So,
yes.
Speaking of initiative and people doing things out of spite, we got a Nick Hates It?
Yes, we do. This is a short one. So as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, gained a little bit of weight since the kid has been around, and have started in the last few days to really want to lose that weight, maybe get back to more of where I want to be. And in that vein, starting to bike ride a little bit, just around the neighborhood. So the last couple of days, wife and I, wife will walk with the baby. I'll bike just around the neighborhood. It's great. And in the morning, it's been in the morning, and so the weather's been, awesome, just really enjoyable. Well, one thing that it's been a while since I really biked because my wife was pregnant. She couldn't bike, so we didn't really. But anyway, one thing that I was reminded of today, and I'm just in a residential neighborhood, so very calm. Cars aren't driving fast. I was reminded of today how just disrespectful people in cars are of bikers. So I was going in our neighborhood, and I have a little rear view mirror on my bike so I can see behind me. I see there's a car, but I'm pretty far ahead of it, so I go through this stop sign, and I'm coming up and I can hear them coming up behind me on the next one. They're pretty close together, and so I start slowing down as if to stop at the stop sign, and I'm somewhat over, but there's clearly enough room for a car. Well, instead of waiting behind me like the car should, they come up right next to me at the stop sign and then pass me through the intersection. And it's not a big deal. Like it's fine. It was fine. We're in a neighborhood, but like that's if you do that on like a busier street, pretty unsafe. People just aren't courteous to cyclists, to motorcyclists, really. They're inconsiderate, and people in general are just kind of bad drivers. I don't know if it's bad. Most people are just very not aware while they're driving. And I gave the lady like one of these. Like I lifted up my hands, like, "What are you doing?" And she just kept driving. So it was annoying, and just people backing out of their driveway, not paying attention. Then I have to stop, and they keep going. Things like that, just real annoying. So first of all, use your side view mirrors, use your rear view mirrors, pay attention, and be courteous to the other people on the road. And that includes, cars as well, because most people just aren't paying attention. But that's all I got. I haven't had any major hate the last few weeks. Maybe I've just been in a better mood. Your positivity has transferred over to me, is what's happening.
I think you're just getting soft with the baby and getting in your old age there.
That's probably true. Probably true.
Yeah. Be courteous. Look out for people on the road. I have a teenage driver, and she doesn't do that. So we have enough of that. Yeah. Be courteous. I was going to say something, but I forgot. There you go.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Usually we do our TV section here, but it's football season, so that's all I care about watching right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
So forget regular TV, and let's go on to do some football talk, or do we want to do our debate? I know we talked about this, but
yeah, let's do. They kind of go hand in hand. So we'll start with the debate, the well below average debate of the week. Football season, you're getting usually buying some food, especially for the big games, maybe the first game, playoff game, Super Bowl, all that. And one thing that I thought of today, because last night we had pizza for dinner, debate thin crust or thick crust pizza, and not deep dish. Like deep dish is not included here, just your standard pan thick crust pizza. And having been a former was it Domino's employee? I feel like you must have opinions on this.
Yes. So you're talking hand tossed, your standard crust pizza, right? Versus
Right.
like the thin kind of crackery crust, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, man, I feel like I'm going to ride the fence on this, and I don't mean it, but your typical pizza, give me a pepperoni. My favorite was always the hamburger, mushroom, throw some black olives on there. Oh, I love that.
Mm.
Not a
Yeah.
big pepperoni guy, but I like to trick it up. Thin crust, that's to me is hand tossed. Give that to me on hand tossed. Give me your standard toppings on hand tossed. If you're gonna make me like a chicken Alfredo pizza, if you're gonna make like we used to have this cheesesteak pizza. If you're gonna do anything like that fancy, I want it thin crust. I don't
Okay.
want the bread overwhelming the distinct the uniqueness of the topping.
Okay.
They're different.
So the benefit of thin crust is you can eat more of it, right?
Right.
There's less bread filling you up. I used to be a hand tossed only person, but now right next to my job is a place that only does thin crust pizza. And if I'm busy, didn't pack a lunch, just in a hurry, I'll go grab like a personal pizza from them. And their thin crust pizza is phenomenal. I love the crisp when they cook it a little bit extra, and the cheese and like that crisp at the end, the crunch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have become more of a thin crust pizza fan. I still like your hand toss. If we're gonna get delivery pizza from one of the big chains, that's what we're gonna get. But thin crust pizza, I think it's a little bit underrated. It allows, and you brought up a good point. It lets the toppings shine. The bread doesn't overwhelm it, and I think that's the biggest thing about thin crust pizza. And then deep dish, Chicago style. We're not talking about that. That's more like lasagna anyway, or not lasagna, but more like a casserole. Like just tons of topping, right?
Yeah.
So I'm slowly moving towards more of a thin crust pizza person.
Yeah. It's yeah. I would say I like thin crust. Maybe prefer it just a hair more. Um, yeah. I'm coming there. I
But
think it's more of a maturity thing. I think when you're young, it's
yeah,
like let me just shove any pepperoni pizzas into
but pizza's pizza, right? It's all.
Did you ever go to CC's? So me and my brother used to go to CC's
Yeah.
Pizza, and we would save our crust and like compete to see who could eat the most. Did you ever?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. CC's, one thing that I loved that they had was those cinnamon rolls. Those were phenomenal. Cinnamon roll, not really a dessert, but at CC's, it was a dessert.
They had all kinds of stuff. My kids love CC's. I go to it. It's like this place is a train wreck, and it's 1,000 times nicer than the one I had when I was growing up. The one by my house.
They're still around, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. The
No,
one
I
that,
remember back in the day, the buffet price was so cheap at CC's. So it was like $4.99 at one time.
all you can drink, and then like a handful of quarters, and go out into the arcade. And
Oh yeah. What is? Do you happen to know like what the buffet would be today? Is it like $10? I'm sure.
I haven't been in so long. I think it's like $6.99, $7.99. I don't think
Okay.
it's a $10 yet. Now, no, it's basically like a Little Caesars quality pizza. It's not.
Right.
You're not getting top quality in the pizza department, but they do have some good things, and they have some thin crust. They'll throw like a spinach Alfredo pizza out there on a thin crust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have the macaroni and cheese pizza, right? I remember that when that came out, that was a big deal.
Yes. So they're out there, not great quality, but I appreciate their abstract thinking in the pizza department.
Yeah.
It's a well above average approach.
Absolutely.
So there we go. There's our debate for the week. But let's get into what everybody wants to hear. And this week 1 of the NFL season, we're actually, as recording, the Sunday night game is about to start, or maybe just started. But let's talk about the games that have happened. And we'll start with my lowly Cowboys. And they, what'd you think? Did you watch the Cowboys game?
I did. Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I thought they played pretty well, honestly. I mean, had a chance to win the game. Defense, what were the expectations anyway, right? They couldn't get a stop at the end. The kicker sucked. That was the main story. He's a little bit better. who knows the outcome, but the offense looked great. Now Dak had to throw it a million times, so we'll see if hopefully that trend doesn't continue if you're a Cowboys fan. But I thought overall they played well and showed that they can, hang with the best in the NFC. So, disappointing that it's a loss, obviously, but there's no such thing as moral victories, but, look pretty good.
Yeah. I kind of go back and forth. Yeah, there's the whole idea they hung with the Super Bowl champs on the road. I messed up, and I didn't realize that there was point spreads in my Pick'em league, so I thought I was just picking Tampa straight up. I should have picked Cowboys, because Tampa had a huge betting line. They were like 7.5.
Yeah. Well, it was even like 8 in some places.
Yeah, so...
in fact, let me just talk about betting. It is not legal to gamble on sports like straight up in Texas. However, there are loopholes. And not that I would ever do this, government watching and listening, but I wanted to put a $50 or $20, I tried to bargain with my wife about this, a $50 or $20 parlay on 3 games. The Cowboys to cover, the Texans to cover, and the Steelers to win straight up. If I would have bet $50, I would have won $550.
Now you go back to your wife and you tell her.
And I say, guess what? All of those things hit. That's a part-time job that I could have just gotten it. But no, I wasn't allowed to. So here we are. I sit with $50 in my pocket. That is probably a good decision overall. But yeah, the Cowboys would have been a part of that.
I certainly am not a gambler. Pick'em league, and it's just spread. I understand it, but I can never.
Yeah.
But no, so I go back and forth because it's like, yes, they looked real good, but then when they have 4-5 red zone trips where they couldn't score, then you had to rely on your kicker. Now your kicker should have done his job. Not everybody scores in the red zone. You could look across all today's games.
Yeah, right.
4 or 5 red zone trips that ended in kicks. Yeah, so that's part of it. I go back and forth. Offensive line played great. Connor McGovern finally looks like what he's been promised.
Yeah, I thought that was a bright spot. With Zach Martin out, offensive line looked good.
Yeah, Connor Williams and Tyler Biadasz looked bad. Lyle Collins apparently on 62 pass plays did not give up a pressure. So line looks good enough for the most part. Zach Martin is back. Of course, Lyle Collins is suspended for 5 games for skipping drug tests, and I saw something on that. He would have had to skip something in the neighborhood of like 5 or 6 to be suspended in any games.
Wow.
I don't know the whole situation, but basically he falls under the not cooperating with the drug test clause. Like, he's just said he's not going to do it.
That's not great. Not great, Lyle. Not great. But yeah, the Cowboys, I thought overall, looked good. All things considered, and 16 games left, so they got time.
Yeah. And we are going to talk about the Steelers, but a couple of shocks. I did not think the Eagles could go in and put 23.
Yeah.
Falcons 23-6 in Atlanta.
Jalen Hurts played pretty well, which was surprising to me. I haven't been, and I'm really not still a Jalen Hurts believer as a starter. Like, I think he could be a fine backup in the NFL, but he looked good today. So I picked that game wrong. Thought the Falcons would win that. Eagles looked really good. Another one, the Cardinals smashed the Titans. Kyler Murray looked awesome, and that was not surprising. I think the Titans are a bit overrated, but they're one of the teams. They made some big free agent acquisitions: Julio Jones, Bud Dupree, former Steeler, and they kind of just laid an egg. So Cardinals look good as well.
Yeah, Chargers look good against Washington. Kind of was expected.
Yeah.
I did not expect the Bengals to beat Minnesota, which I'm not high on Minnesota at all, but I thought you know, Bengals. I don't know if the Bengals got better or Minnesota got worse, but you know, lost a close one there. But a game I did not expect a win out of was up in Buffalo, and
Yeah.
your Steelers took care of business and survived a pretty rough first half to come away with a road victory against probably one of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah, the first half was really bad. 54 total yards on offense. The defense played great. The front seven had Josh Allen under pressure all day. The Bills' offensive line got called for 6 holding calls. So Josh Allen was just kind of under pressure all day. The secondary played pretty well. That's the area that I think they could be exploited the most, and how the Bills really beat the Steelers last year. The big thing was a special teams touchdown. Blocked a punt, took it back for a touchdown, 10-point lead, and they never let go after that. The offense did just enough in the second half. Ben looked okay. The running game is going to be a struggle because the offensive line is not great. So we'll see how that goes over the long haul. But yeah, super happy. Did not expect them to win, and they did. So I'm feeling good today. My in-laws in Buffalo. I have bragging rights now at Christmas. So yeah, it was a surprising win, but happy about it nonetheless. And to keep it in the AFC, the Browns took the Chiefs to the wire. Really, probably should have won that game. And the Chiefs do it, what they always do. Never dead until the clock's at zeros, and they come back and win it at home. And Patrick Mahomes was great as always. He's never lost in September as a starter, which is an amazing stat.
Yeah, and it's and NFL is different than college. College, you can lose, Ohio State lost against Oregon, and that's not going to matter at the end of the year. Which what I dislike about college is a loss is way different depending on the time of year. But yeah, you win every game you can. Like you said, no moral victories. But yeah, that was a good game. I just finished watching that before we jumped on. Browns look good. Mayfield looked real good, probably better than I've seen him. Not that I watch a lot of Browns games. And New England got beat in New England by Miami. And when's the last time that happened?
Yeah, well, I think they did it last year. So that was, it was something that was surprising then. And this year the Dolphins are a pretty good team. I'm not high on the Patriots. Like, some people think the Patriots are going to make the playoffs. I'm not so sure. Mac Jones is fine. The defense will be pretty good, but I think that division is good. Like, the Bills are great. The Dolphins are going to be a formidable opponent. I think the Patriots are really going to struggle to make the playoffs, especially because the rest of the AFC is so deep. But yeah, the Dolphins hold on to a win, and Mac Jones looked fine, which is, I guess, good enough.
Yeah, and something I've talked to my dad about, and maybe we've talked about here, is there's only a certain amount of wins in the NFL. It's 17 times 32. That's the amount of wins possible total, and a team like the Patriots, if you got the Bills winning more games and Miami winning more games and the Jets winning 2 or 3 more games, it's those wins come from somebody, and it's looking like a team like the Patriots is going to be kind of on the odd end there.
Yeah,
a couple of seasons. But that's let's do that. We are at the 50-minute mark, which is. Do you want to go ahead and pick our division winners, or do you want to save this for next week?
We might as well do it. We can do it quickly without much explanation. We can go through and pick the divisions, and maybe let's do this. Let's pick the division winners today, and then next week we'll pick our conference and Super Bowl.
All right, sounds good. Let's do this. You want to put the spreadsheet up on the screen?
I don't have it pulled up, but you are welcome to do that.
Yeah, let me do this. Give it a
live coverage of technology.
Am I on? Can you see me?
I can see me. Now I can see the spreadsheet here.
All right, there we go. Let me blow it up. Okay, so we have AFC. Let's go East, West. Nope, that's not supposed to do that.
live coverage of more technology. Not yeah.
I'm not prepared for this. Well, it's not working like it should. It's not working like other. All right, so let's go down the line here. We have
Okay.
the AFC East. Who you picking?
And I'll take the Bills. I think that's a pretty easy pick, even after today.
All right, AFC West. Who we picking?
Kansas City.
That's my pick. I think that's pretty obvious. AFC North might be the hardest one to pick.
Yeah, I'll keep my homer glasses off for this. I'm going to say the Browns. The Ravens have too many injuries. I don't think the Steelers are quite good enough, so I'll say Cleveland.
I agree. I think we're in total agreement right now. That's who I was going to say. And AFC South, which might be the worst division. Well, I guess I got Titans and Indy.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Let's see. Titans, Texans, Colts, Jaguars. I will take. They lost to the Seahawks. I will take. Man, I guess I'll take the Titans.
Okay. Titans. I'm gonna go Indy. I'm feeling Indy, so we'll have to sort that one out. All right. Where we at? NFC East. Who are you taking?
I am going to take the Cowboys.
That's just too obvious. NFC West.
This is a very good division. Maybe the best in the league. The Rams, the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Cardinals, all very good teams. In fact, if the Rams win tonight, they will have all won today. So that is a tough call. I think I'm going to say the 49ers, not very confidently.
I'm going to say Rams.
No, I'm going to take the Rams too. Take mine off. We'll be in step here.
It's just it just seems. I'm a Stafford believer. I think Stafford could be near Hall of Fame if he'd have had any team at all his whole career.
Not played for like one of the worst franchises in NFL history.
Yeah, I mean he could have gone to the Jets and probably been 10 times better. Well, I don't know. Strike that. NFC North.
So really bad showing for the NFC North today. Packers, we didn't really talk about this, got beaten up by the Saints. The Lions are terrible. You mentioned the Bengals beat the Vikings. And the Bears are playing right now. I will say the Packers still win the division.
Yeah, that seems... I think there's some... Yeah. Their off-season issues haven't shook off yet. I think they're going to hit their stride.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not predicting a big year. I'm 10-7, 11-6. I could see them being a 4 seed pretty easily. And the NFC South to round it out.
So we've got the Bucs, Saints, Falcons. Who am I forgetting?
Panthers.
I'll take the Bucs.
Yeah, that seems pretty. It's going to be hard to pick against the Super Bowl champs. So
the Saints maybe, but so we only disagree on one.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I would say right down the line there. Because I feel like Indy is a quarterback away. I'm coming back. Am I back?
Not yet. Still not yet. And nope, there's me again.
What happened? Stop sharing. Well, we might have to end with no. It's not working.
Or are you invisible? Do you have a superpower that you didn't tell me about?
Would like to observe your screen. Don't allow. I don't know what's happening. My camera's
live coverage of technology once again on the Well Below Average podcast. We never claim to be above average at anything. Now Adam's back.
I'm back. So yeah, next week we'll go ahead and pick who we think are the playoffs. So we're gonna pick the Super Bowl winner and all that good stuff. And that was a great grammatically correct sentence I said. I don't care what you say. And yeah, that's all I have. Nick, do you have anything else for us?
No, I don't. have a good night, everybody. Whenever you're listening to this, a good day, a good week. And we'll say one more thanks to our sponsors, Local Menace and Rodeo Coffee. And that's all I got.
All right. Well, until we see you next time, everybody stay above average.
Oh my god, that man is well below average.